I had a moment in life where I recognized that I had suicidal thoughts.
Wow.
Just in honesty, um, and I felt like, excuse me, because I feel like I'm an emotional person. I want to cry, but
This is a safe
um,
space, brother.
yeah,
Trust me.
but
This is a safe space.
I man, woof, I felt like life wasn't supposed to be so hard. I might not have had in comparison to third world countries or like, people who really got it real hard, but it felt tough for the space that I grew up in. And just having thoughts of like, man, if it's been this hard for 30 years, 31 years, 32 years, 33 years, am I even supposed to be here? I don't think life is supposed to be this hard. And then my example, when I go around family or I go around friends, I go around people who smiling, and why my life not like that? You know what I mean? Or because from a kid, I had I was in a situation where I go to the store and stuff, and say I'd be at Foot Locker, and or Christmas come up, and a family member, I'm not going to be specific, but a family member would get something and I wouldn't get it.
Right. Right.
So things like that I carry with me, So I don't get jealous when I go to stores and people are buying stuff and I don't get nothing. I don't get jealous, but I just figured life wasn't supposed to be that hard. I had been through a lot of things, um, and it didn't make sense. I'm like, man, I might as well take myself out. I think the first time that I made an attempt,
Whoa, you actually made an attempt.
um,
Again, share as much as you want.
when I probably was like 11, 12, and my wrist right here,
Uh-huh.
I had took a little knife out the chop block or whatever, and I was gonna start to cut my wrist. I'm in the kitchen. My grandma is sitting in the living room, and once I start to cut my wrist, I'm like, damn, this shit hurt. I ain't
I don't
ready.
mean to
And
laugh.
no. I felt the same way. I'm like, hey, you thought you was ready to do it, right? I'm at 11 or 12. I started to cut. I started bleeding a lot. But I don't know how I was young. I don't know if it was because my mom had me watching scary movies or whatever. But I knew to cut across the veins, right? So I started cutting, and then I stopped because I seen how much blood was coming up. I wasn't ready for that kind of pain. I'm young. I'm like, nah, that shit hurt too much. So I just take a napkin and I start dabbing it, and I hold it on there. Eventually, it stopped the bleeding, and I go and I tell my grandma that I was trying to cut an apple, and so that was the first time that I had dealt with it. And later, I kept feeling pain, and then
Wait, before we move on, do you think it was the pain that stopped you from continuing to cut?
yeah,
Or was it so it wasn't the want to live?
nah, I didn't. Nah, up
Wow.
until so I'm older now.
Uh-huh.
It was up until I got past 30 where I finally changed that thought of my why for being here, my love for self, thinking about purpose. But up until after 30, I mean before 30, hell no, it didn't cross my mind at all. Like I'm for sure like I was one of them people where it wasn't no question. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, don't nobody give a fuck about me. I knew I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like really thinking. You don't even supposed to be here. You know what I mean? And yeah, because I was also treated like the redhead stepchild. You know what
By
I
your
mean?
family?
By a family member. Yeah. Ooh,
We can take a break if you want.
I'm good.
We can actually use this to kind of segue into your story because I don't want to focus on, too much on this specific. How was it for you growing up? Like siblings, parents?